Thank you. The clerk will take the roll.
Commissioner Gamache.
Here.
Commissioner Schulte.
Here.
Commissioner Jepson.
Here.
Commissioner Meisner.
Here.
And we all are here and accounted for. Under others, I'm going to quickly add this, what we have before us, additional item that'll be under 7, and we'll put it in 7C under public safety. So that's added to the agenda. Move down to item number 4, consider accepting the regular claims paid over $500 and purchase card claims paid for the period ending May 30th, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Brasted. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Schulte. Any discussions or questions? This is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Excuse me. Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Item number 5 is the approval of minutes from the May 27th, 2025 County Board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Jepson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Heinrich. Any changes or discussion or questions? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, it passes unanimously. Chair's remarks is next, and since Eric has not given me anything, so I don't think I have any chair's remarks. I do want to quickly thank this Minnesota Legislature for finishing their session last night. My bet was that they'd go over on the over-under at 3 a.m., but they didn't, so I missed that one. I thought 5 a.m. they'd be done. But glad they got their work done. I think we'll have some comments later on from Commissioner Jepson regarding the transportation, and she worked very hard on that, so I'll give her that opportunity. But we're very thankful for the session to be over. Now we'll just hold on and see what happens from Washington, D.C., if we are going to be seeing any cuts, but so far so good in most cases. We'll move down to the committee as of the whole recommendations, and we have letter A, management. Commissioner Meisner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Committee of the Whole for Management, we met on May 27th in this building. There were no public comments in person. I did not receive any via email, but anyone may make those public comments via email at mandy.meisner@anokacounty.mn.gov. So on our consent agenda today, we have travel requests. There is A through D. Again, this is covering a variety of people in various departments. This is all for training or various conferences. You can see the details there. I won't go over each one, but I will go ahead and move that slate again for A through D.
I have a motion on the consent. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Meisner, second by Commissioner Jepson. Any questions? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
Commissioner Brastad.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. Any informational items, Commissioner Meisner?
Yes, there are some informational items that, of course, I always like to share with the public. So for informational item number 2, this is for approving 2 employment agreements, contracts. One was with Corey Cohan, and this is to appoint him as the Assistant Director in Community Corrections. The second was also an employment agreement with Kelly Wellman. This is to appoint her for the executive assistants into the sheriff's office. Both of those actually already were ratified. They went directly to the board. The next informational item was a presentation on the Employee and Engagement Inclusion Initiatives presentation. I do want to just give my compliments to that presentation. It was very thorough. It covered both the past and bringing us up to the present around this work. One of the things I do want to highlight that I am particularly excited about was ERGs, or Employee Resource Groups. So those have now launched. We have 2 of them as of this moment. One is a veteran ERG and one is a BIPOC ERG. But those are open to anyone in the county. So any employee may initiate their own resource group, and there is a structure and a policy process around that. But this has been, ERG's a long time in the making. Back in the day with the original committee, this really was a passion idea and passion project of Eileen Waterman. And so I was so glad to see that finally be realized. So that was kind of the highlight that I wanted to share in that report. The other informational item number 4, this is an overview, or was an overview, of the county's property insurance renewal. So with that, that concludes my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Meisner. We'll move down to the Transportation and Parks Committees, and we'll start with Commissioner Jepson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you mentioned in your opening remarks, I just wanted to take a couple minutes just to say sheer thanks of gratitude and appreciation for all those who worked tirelessly over the last week and a half with that state transportation bill. I specifically want to thank my colleagues up here who did their own work, their own phone calls, their own emails, texts to our legislators, the legislators themselves. Many of who, both House representatives and senators on both sides of the aisle, worked tirelessly along with us to understand our message and what we were trying to do, and really listened to us. I would also like to say a huge thanks of gratitude to the other 6 county commissioners and their staff for joining our forces to get a really, really bad piece of legislation out of the original language that would be very damaging to county governments and, county spending and projects that we already have allocated for projects throughout our county to allow us to make the decision in how we spend that money. Finally, I would like to thank the county staff and the state staff who also really worked tirelessly with us because at the end of the day, it's them who will be doing this work. And at the end of the day, I was fighting for them and fighting for county taxpayer dollars. So just wanted to make that mention. It was stressful. It was a lot. And so I think those who worked with us, listened to us, should get that appreciation. It wasn't everyone. I want to make that very clear as well. But we do appreciate Republicans and Democrats who did choose to work with us. So thank you. So getting into the Transportation Committee report, the Parks and Transportation Committee of the whole met on June 3rd at the Transportation Division facility. There was no one in attendance who offered public comment. We have a number of items on the consent agenda, so I will get started with the Highway Department. The first item on our consent agenda is Resolution 2025 TR19, which is a resolution approving the receipt of grant funds through the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency for stormwater treatment design for the reconstruction of the 40th Avenue between Main Street and Trunk Highway 47 in the city of Columbia Heights. The grant amount is $25,000. The next recommendation to approve is entering into contract C00-11537. This is a memo of understanding with the city of Ramsey for a temporary placement of flock safety camera equipment within Anoka County right-of-way to assist Ramsey police officers. This request is similar to all the requests that we've consistently done over the past year or so, specifically with the cities of Blaine, Spring Lake Park, Columbia Heights, and Anoka. There is no cost to the county on this memo of understanding, as the city of Ramsey is responsible for all expenses, upkeep, and maintenance. Now going to the surveyor's office for the last 2 items, the first being the recommendation for the release of permanent drainage and utility easement held by Anoka County and the city of Ramsey. In 2014, Anoka County received a drainage and utility easement from the city of Ramsey Housing and Redevelopment Authority, which was used to construct a stormwater treatment pond associated with the Highway 10 and Armstrong Boulevard interchange project. Since that time, the city of Ramsey has designed and constructed a new regional stormwater pond at an alternate location to manage runoff for the area previously served by the original pond and is now complete and operational. Ramsey has recently removed the original highway pond infrastructure within the county's easement area. However, the drainage and utility easement remains. The city is requesting the release of this easement to allow for platting and development of the parcel into 3 commercial lots. There is no cost to the county. So that is for an explanation for the third item. And the final item on our consent agenda is recommending approval of a quit claim deed granting a 40-foot wide opening in the existing controlled access to an existing outlot in Waterfront Village in Ramsey. Ramsey submitted a preliminary plat for redevelopment. They intend to replat and redevelop this property as Bunker Lake Crossings, a commercial development. The proposal includes 3 commercial lots and 1 outlot. 2 of the lots will share a 40-foot wide right-in, right-out access onto Armstrong Boulevard, while Lot 3 will access the site off Sunwood Drive Northwest. City and county staff have worked together to confirm the proposed development and access configurations and agree that they both meet our individual requirements. There is no cost to the county associated with that, which is great. And with that, Mr. Chair, I will offer a motion to accept the Transportation Committee consent agenda.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Jepson, seconded by Commissioner Heinrich. Any discussion anyone has on any of these 4? Hearing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
And that passes unanimously. I'm going to move to the Commissioner Reinert and the parks, and then we'll do informational after we finish all the voting. So Commissioner Reinert.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
We do have a few items for you to consider today. First item is Resolution 2025 TR16, and this is a resolution relating to snowmobile trail grant in aid programs. The state provides these dollars. We received $500,000 in 2021 and $200,000 in 2023 for design and engineering for a couple miles in the Rice Creek North Regional Trail. What we're doing with this action is requesting $7 million for the last remaining segment over by Golden Lake Elementary and Baldwin Park in Circle Pines. Next item is Resolution 2025 TR17, a resolution of support for a capital budget request to Minnesota Management and Budget to fund trail improvements for the Rice Creek Regional Trail System. So this is a segment over in Circle Pines. It's very marshy. It's going to be an expensive trail no matter when it's done, but we've been trying to get it done for about 30 years. We like to call it the missing link, and it's because if we could just get that trail segment done, you'd be able to go from northern Minnesota down to the Gulf of America, I guess now. And so we did receive $500,000 for design, engineering, and some archaeological digs, but we just need that last amount of money to get it done, and now it's up to $7 million. So that's what that item is about. Resolution 2025 TR18, relating to the issuance of permits for archery deer hunting in designated areas of Bunker Hills Regional Park, Coon Rapids Dam Regional Park, Rum River Central Regional Park, and Rice Creek Chain of Lakes Lake Reserve. So we do this every year. We send in deer hunters with bows, safe way to remove some deer. The populations are just so great in our parks that we just have to do this. As an example, Bunker Hills Regional Park has 39 deer per square mile, if you can imagine that. Coon Rapids Dam, 21, and Rice Creek Chain of Lake Regional Park, 22 deer per square mile. So we take out, I think last year, let me add it up here, it's about 52, 60, about 70 deer. And what it does is just reduces the amount of deer that are in there, and what it really greatly improves is a reduction in deer auto collisions, which is, as you can imagine, a pretty big safety problem. Next on the agenda is contract number C0011630. This is in the amount of $3,557,090 to Bituminous Roadways, Inc. for the Bunker Redevelopment Project in Coon Rapids. So these dollars come from legacy funds. We've got about $4 million in there right now, and this project is to do some work on the southern portions of Parkway A, Parkway B, parking lots at Bunker Campground, and the auxiliary maintenance building. And that includes the 4 items for you to consider today, and I'll move those.
We have a motion. Do I have a second on these 4?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Schulte, moved by Commissioner Reinert. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, this is a roll call vote.
Commissioner Schulte.
Aye.
Commissioner Jepson.
Aye.
Commissioner Meisner.
Aye.
Commissioner Heinrich.
Aye.
Commissioner Brassad.
Aye.
Commissioner Reinert.
Aye.
Commissioner Gamache.
Aye. And that passes unanimously. I'll check with back with Commissioner Jepson on informational items from her meeting.
Yes, there are a number of information items from the Transportation Committee that we discussed, and I just want to touch on a few of them. We all know the joke, Minnesota has 2 seasons, winter and construction. And so we know as we go about our days, construction season is alive and well. And whenever I talk to residents about upcoming projects, construction, things like that, I always make sure to include, just wait, it's going to get worse. It is going to get a lot worse before it gets better. So this morning, I have the honor today to kick off the first 2 of very, very many items that will come before this board for the Trunk Highway 65 project that will begin next year. The committee authorized the county engineer to negotiate 2 different contracts that are the first steps in beginning construction of the new grade-separated interchanges along Trunk Highway 65 from 97th Avenue to 117th Avenue in the city of Blaine. These contracts streamline the distribution of the awarded funds and allow MnDOT to directly access the funds for that project. The City of Blaine and Anoka County was awarded $9 million and $25 million. So in order to utilize those funds, we must enter into 2 separate agreements with MnDOT. The 2 contracts are C00-11640, and the second contract is C00-11641. Next, we authorized the county engineer to advertise for bids for the replacement of a bridge on Rum River Boulevard or over the Sealy Brook in Oak Grove. The next item we discussed was gaining a further understanding of the nationwide candidate conservation agreement with assurances for the monarch butterfly on energy and transportation lands. In early May, we approved for staff to begin preparing an application to participate in this voluntary program, which is in partnership with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services and is designed to support the conservation of monarch butterflies while providing regulatory assurances for participating agencies. We also discussed some updates on recent and current projects and the agreements that were executed since the last Transportation Committee. So with that, those were all the informational items I wanted to contribute.
Thank you, Commissioner Jepson. Commissioner Reinert, any informational items from Parks?
I can talk about a couple of things here. Would also like to comment on the 2 seasons of Minnesota. Over here in the Parks Committee area, we call it the fun things you can do in Anoka County Parks in the summer and the fun things you can do in the Anoka County Parks in the winter. And some of those are Bunker Beach. Bunker Beach opened last Saturday, June 7th, and will be open until August 24th. Very popular place to go in Anoka County, and this includes the very popular Cardio Club. Cardio Club happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not going to get the times right, but there's a morning session and an afternoon session. It's in the Lazy River, growing in popularity. Also, it's Saturday, Sunday, and I think that's a morning session there. Campgrounds are open, and we should remind residents that some of our campgrounds are alongside rivers, like the Rum River Campground, and you can actually rent a campsite right on the river, so you can have access for your canoe or your kayak. And so definitely the campgrounds are super popular. Book now because they sell out. We did have another successful, fantastic kids fishing clinic. Took place on May 3rd. We had over 300 participants. And Chamonix Golf Course continues to grow in popularity and become more and more successful. This year we already have 20 new members, and we have a growing amount of golf tournaments and golf clubs. I was out there a couple times already this year, and it's really the only place I golf. The grounds look great and keep improving. Membership has steadily grown over the last 6 years, and I just want to throw out a special thanks to Mark Johnson, who's been running the Chamonix Golf Course for the last 6 years. He just does an impeccable job. So that completes my information report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Reinert. We'll move down to item 7C, Public Safety. Commissioner Brassad.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Public Safety Committee met this morning. We had no public comment, but we have this one item, this one resolution that we felt it urgent enough to move it right to the board. And that is, we seek approval of Resolution 2025 PS 11, which is a resolution affirming the rule of law. And I'll read through the resolution so that everyone is aware of exactly what it states. It states, whereas all the officials in Anoka County have sworn oaths to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and to faithfully discharge the duties of their offices. And whereas the 10th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States, ratified in 1791, establishes that the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution nor prohibited to the United States are reserved to the states or to the people, clarifying that the federal government's authority is limited. And whereas the separation of powers is a fundamental principle of American government that promotes democratic accountability by ensuring that the three branches of government at the state and federal levels are subject to the oversight of one another and the electorate. And whereas public interest groups and the United States Department of Homeland Security have erroneously characterized Anoka County as a sanctuary jurisdiction for undocumented immigrants. And whereas Anoka County and its officials, including the sheriff and the county attorney, have never passed an ordinance, adopted any resolution, or set any policy or procedure aimed at or resulting in the county being a sanctuary jurisdiction for undocumented immigrants. And whereas Anoka County and its officials, including the sheriff and the county attorney, respect the rule of law, the rights of individuals, and every day they seek to carry out the county's responsibilities for protecting and serving the people in Anoka County within the law. Now therefore be it resolved that Anoka County is not a sanctuary for undocumented people within the United States. Be it further resolved that the Anoka County Commissioners, the sheriff, and the Anoka County County Attorney, whose names are signed to this resolution, reaffirm their oaths to discharge faithfully the duties of their offices, and that it is the policy of Anoka County to respect the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, the reservation of powers to the states, the separation of powers, the rule of law, and then individual rights, among other bedrock legal principles. Be it finally resolved that this resolution is posted in the official county bulletin board and copies be forwarded immediately to each department of the county and the Association of Minnesota Counties. And Mr. Chair, I'd like to offer that resolution.
Thank you, Commissioner Breasted, for offering that resolution. I would like to have our Administrator Jim Dickinson go over a little bit about some of what's been happening leading up to this.
Basically why we're here. And what you have is the resolution that was read by Commissioner Brasted. It's recommended by the county administrator, county attorney, and county sheriff. We're all supportive of this. Particularly May 30th, the Department of Homeland Security published on their website a list where they identified as sanctuary jurisdictions as it relates to immigration enforcement, Anoka County. Within a couple of days, that list was taken down. Why now? In the past, we've had a statement that we've put out identifying basically that we follow the law and we respect the rights of all, but we follow the law. Understanding with this list, there's been talk that this list will come back. It does have potential funding restrictions from the federal government, and that we believe this is a identifier to really set the record straight of who Anoka County is. So with that, that's how we come forth to offer the resolution that Commissioner Brasted just read. And I do believe the county attorney has a little bit more to add to this, as does the county sheriff.
Thank you, Jim. County Attorney Johnson.
Thank you, Chair Gamache, members of the county board. Some of this will be a little duplicative, but I think it bears repeating so that the public gets an understanding of why we're here. As this board knows, and the sheriff knows, certain partisan nonprofit organizations and public interest groups have recently used this phrase, sanctuary jurisdiction, to make political points. It's unfortunate, but also, as the sheriff and the board knows, there isn't a legally established definition of sanctuary jurisdiction in any federal law, or for that matter, in any state law. That phrase is not used in the law. A small number of communities across the nation have self-described or self-declared that they are sanctuaries. Anoka County is not and has never been one of them. Recently, in response to an executive order, the United States Department of Homeland Security published a nationwide list that included Minnesota communities. Other communities that are very similar to Anoka County are on that list: Wright County, Sherburne County, Stearns County, and Anoka County was also put on that list. That is erroneous. And after the Minnesota Sheriff's Association and others pushed back against the inclusion on that list, the list was taken down. The list is likely to come back, but it was a temporary list that was put out there. Anoka County has always taken pride in its respect for the rule of law. That has always been my advice to the sheriff and all the county departments. We in Anoka County make a good faith effort to follow the law in all that we do. I do want to just call out the 5th whereas clause and just read it again, because I think it really does bear repeating. Whereas Anoka County and its officials, including the sheriff and the county attorney, have never passed any ordinance, adopted any resolution, or set any policy or procedure aimed at or resulting in the county being a sanctuary jurisdiction for undocumented immigrants. It is just inaccurate to describe the county as otherwise. This resolution seeks to affirm the rule of law and to set the record straight, and I will just offer to the county board that I support it, even though I don't have a vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff Wise is here, and I'd like to have him make a comment as well. Thank you, Sheriff, for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Clearly, this has become, the topic of immigration enforcement has become a very political topic. One, for sure, that I think it's appropriate that we address via this resolution. I think it needs to be clear to the public that I too support this resolution, that this resolution is a statement of fact. It's not a reflection of any sort of policy shift or change. As you know, I've been in local law enforcement in Anoka County for 30 years, including a senior leadership position in another city for more than 10 years before coming to the sheriff's office. I think part of the misconception with either helping or not helping ICE do their job is some sort of new thing. In my 30 years of law enforcement in Anoka County, no ICE official has ever come to me and said that they would like local law enforcement help in doing their job. They are adequately staffed to do their job. They do their jobs very well. They frankly don't need law enforcement's help, local law enforcement's help to do their jobs. What people are seeing today is, if you want to describe it as a bottleneck of removals for people who shouldn't be in the country, the bottleneck exists within the courts. The bottleneck is not due to arrests. So what that resolution specifically is talking about is saying that we in Anoka County are going to continue to follow the law just as we always have. We will continue to work with federal authorities in the capacity that they ask us to, but that said, they're not asking us for our help. They just don't. They do their thing, we do our thing. We have a commitment to serve the citizens of Anoka County. From time to time, we run across people who wind up not having status to be in the United States that have committed crimes. They get arrested on those state charges. and then the feds are notified, and then the feds do the job that they need to do for the immigration removal. So I wish we weren't in the kind of place that we had to make some public pronouncement that wasn't necessary for the previous 29 years that I've worked in Anoka County, but apparently it's something that's important today to satisfy the needs of certain elected officials. So I support the resolution. Seems silly to me that we have to be in a position to make a statement such as this, but if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do.
Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate the comments. That's exactly my feeling as well on that regarding the seemingly, it seems to be unnecessary, but I do appreciate that, and thank you very much for that. Any comments for the board? Commissioner Meisner.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'll start off with positives. First of all, thank you so much for allowing the colleagues to flesh out the reasons why we're doing this, because this is, I think, it is a confusing topic because there's not even a legal definition of what we're actually addressing. So there's a variety of layers with this, but I think it is important to educate the public about the reasons, and it is extremely unfortunate that we find ourselves in this position. I will not be supporting this resolution for basically the foundational reason of that this is politically driven. I understand the reasoning that that was just shared, but in 2021, this board did make a commitment to try to avoid actually this kind of predicament. So being that this is politically driven, I'm not going to be able to support this in terms of just wanting to be consistent with that. Also, I would say with this logic, and again, this is a very unique situation, I will recognize that. I don't think anything like this has ever come before this board in terms of trying to negate something or prove something we're already doing. I do think that it is also unnecessary. That word has been used before about this, and I think this resolution is unnecessary because of that. In terms of the logic, we are making a statement that, you know, we are following the law and nothing has changed or is changing, so all those things are true. But by that logic, then are we going to have 50 other resolutions stating that we're also following the law? So again, that just is my basis for my argument, and that is the reason why I will not be supporting this resolution. But I do also want to thank most sincerely the language that was used in this. I know it was really labored over how to address this situation, and I do appreciate the language that was used. I think as far as that goes, it is the best that we could possibly do for something like this, but I still am not able to support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Jepson, then Commissioner Schulte.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So I won't reiterate everything that everybody said, except I really feel that this is very politically motivated, but I don't think our response is political. I think the Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Department, administration did a very, very good job in writing this resolution, as unnecessary or silly as some may think, including me, is, but that's where we're at today. And so I will be supporting this because we are to a point where we're having to validate and affirm that we are following the rule of law based on a response of politically motivated decisions, actions, words, what have you. And that's really unfortunate, but that's where we are. So I just also wanted to comment that there is some potential funding issues that we might have, and this is also a response to support our staff in the county's attorney's office as well as the sheriff's department. And the concern that I have based on comments from the sheriff's department and the attorney's office is that we could lose some really essential funding if any more misinformation or confusion or very clear direction is not given. So I just wanted to make sure people know that this is also in support of our staff, as well as our residents, constituents, and such. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Schulte.
Commissioner Jepson covered my points. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Heinrich.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First off, I do want to thank the administration, county attorney's office, and the sheriff's office for all the hard work and dedication to put the right language together in this resolution. Specifically, want to thank Sheriff Brad Weiss for his comments here this morning. Total agreement with kind of a frustrating spot that we're in. I don't look at this action that the board's taking today as a politically motivated in the sense of the resolution, because all we're doing is stating a fact. It's unfortunate that we have to do that. But the fact is that Anoka County is committed to following federal law and state law, respecting individual rights, and following our Constitution. This resolution is more about public awareness, and I pulled the resolution that's been talked about, Anoka County policy for symbolic resolutions and proclamations back in 2021, long before I was on this board. And I'll just make read one part of it here. The Anoka County Board of Commissioners will continue to consider and issue as appropriate ceremonial resolutions and proclamations issued for, one of the first bullet points is public awareness. This is really a public awareness issue at this point. It's about setting the record straight. We've been, as Anoka County's been misidentified. Fact, we are not a sanctuary county. The term sanctuary was originally politically motivated to satisfy some voter bases in municipalities, political bases. It was more virtue signaling and was a facade that had no teeth in the first place. Municipalities chose to come out with some statement that was at the time called sanctuary to essentially fly in the face of federal immigration law. Sanctuary status used to be an opt-in. I think it still is. Municipalities would opt into, they would make a motion or a resolution declaring themselves a sanctuary. Again, what kind of teeth that had, I don't think it really did, but they did that. That was politically motivated. What we're doing here today is not politically motivated. This is about setting the record straight. At first glance, it does seem unnecessary, but we've been misidentified, and so it's our job to address this and set the record straight. That Anoka County and the officials are committed to following federal and state law. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Heinrich. Commissioner Breasted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good points, Commissioner Heinrich. I just want to say it isn't just since like May since this misinformation has been out. It's been well over a year that some of us have been dealing with this. So it's time that we go on record and make sure that the data is correct. And that's the impetus behind this whole resolution, is just to correct the bad information that is out there and make it very, very clear. So I think this is really good. It's, in my opinion, probably actually a little bit too late, but here we are nonetheless.
Thank you, Commissioner Breasted. Commissioner Reinert.
Yeah, just a short comment. You know, silence a lot of times can be interpreted as agreement, acceptance, and you know, to Commissioner Brostad's point, this has been going on for over a year. And so I've been pushing for, you know, some kind of action to basically just state that we are not a sanctuary county. So I'm glad we came out with this. It's got full support of staff and sheriff's office and the county attorney's office, and very well written. But yeah, it's time to respond. Sometimes you just have to respond. We do not agree with what's been saying. It's at the national level right now, coming out through DHS, a federal agency. Yeah, it's time. So I will be supporting this.
Thank you, Commissioner Reiner. The resolution is called Resolution Affirming the Rule of Law, which I thought was a good title. And most everything that's in here is just going over the fact that we take our oaths of office every time we're reelected. We support the Constitution of the United States, Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and we faithfully discharge the duties of our offices. County attorney does the same. County sheriff does the same. All of the sheriff's deputies take those same oaths of office. So all of those things are being done right now, currently. And there's one quote in here that we didn't add in or anything like that, but I think it came from the administrator's office, is that no Anoka County policy is aimed at impeding ICE's federal authority to enforce the nation's immigration laws. And I thought it was great that the sheriff indicated that over the 30 years, almost that he's never had an ICE agent come to him asking for help. They do their job and they can do their job. So it is frustrating that we have to sit down and go over this and take a vote just to get clarification into Washington, D.C. And that's one of the things that bothers me the most about this, is that if you do your job and you figure out what the truth is, you will find out that we should not be on this list. And from what County Attorney Johnson said, there's probably a few other counties that are going to have to look at this as well, because they've gotten placed on a list that, well, doesn't probably actually exist in the minds of the law, because sanctuary county doesn't mean anything in the eyes of the law. So it is frustrating to have to vote on this. But in this regard, we're trying to clarify. We're trying to make sure everybody understands exactly what's going on. This does support staff. This does, I'm sure at the sheriff's office for sure, but in many other areas of Anoka County within the county attorney's office, and even in our human services area, as to exactly what the points are, and the fact that there could be federal dollars that we're already concerned about losing in certain areas based on legislation that's going through DC and through the House and the Senate. Those are things that we're concerned about and do not want to see happen. So the possibility that it could happen erroneously based on something that's not true, this is our opportunity that we can at least make that statement to say, this is, what's out there is not true. So again, it's the resolution reaffirming the rule of law. And we have a offer of the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
It passes 6-1. Thank you. That is if there's nothing else to come before the county board, we are adjourned.